For millions of people, a heart failure diagnosis feels like a death sentence. But what if I told you that the whole story, the way we think about it, the way we treat it, and even the way we fear it is all wrong? Today, we're digging into a radical new idea: how to stop heart failure before it even begins.
So let's just talk about scale for a second. How big of a problem are we really dealing with here? Right now, around 55 million people worldwide are living with heart failure. And to put that into perspective, that number has literally doubled since 1990. This isn't just a health issue, it's a full-blown global crisis.
Okay, but this is the number that really stops you in your tracks. Even with all the amazing medicine we have today, your chance of surviving just 5 years after a diagnosis is only 50%. It's a coin flip. Why? Because once the symptoms show up, the damage is done. There's no going back.
And that brings us to the core question of this entire explainer. If this disease is so devastating after it appears, why aren't we laser-focused on stopping it before it even has a chance to start? The answer, it turns out, requires us to completely flip the script from treatment to true prevention.
So here's the fundamental problem, the thing we have to get our heads around. By the time you actually feel sick from heart failure, the shortness of breath, the fatigue, the damage to your heart is already severe, and often it's irreversible. Waiting for symptoms is just waiting too long. That's why we desperately need a new plan.
You see, for decades, medicine has basically been playing defense. We wait for the symptoms to show up, and then we scramble to manage the fallout. It's a reactive approach. The new idea is to go on offense, to be proactive, to screen people who feel perfectly healthy and find the hidden seeds of this disease long before they ever sprout.
But to make this massive shift, we kind of have to blow up our old definition of the disease itself. Because it turns out, heart failure doesn't just start in the heart. Nope, it's a systemic issue, one that connects several of our biggest modern health problems.
And this is the absolute game changer. It's a concept called cardiovascular kidney metabolic syndrome, or CKM for short. It's this huge new idea from the American Heart Association that says, hey, let's stop looking at heart disease, kidney disease, obesity, and diabetes like they're totally separate problems. They're not. They are one single interconnected problem, and they all work together to drive heart failure.
So this new model gives us a roadmap, a path to heart failure in 5 clear stages, starting from a clean bill of health. But I want you to look really closely at stage 3. This is the danger zone. It's when your body has started to show hidden, subclinical damage, but, and this is the crucial part, you still feel totally fine. That is our new target for prevention. And get this isn't just some theory in a textbook, it's official. The world's top cardiologists have actually updated the universal definition of heart failure to include, for the first time ever, stages of the disease that happen before a single symptom appears. This is huge. All right, so let's break this down, because this distinction is super important. In stage A, you're considered at risk. Maybe you have high blood pressure, but your heart is still handling it. But in stage B, which is now called pre-heart failure, a critical line has been crossed. The disease process has silently started, and we can now find the physical evidence of it with the right tests. And maybe the best part of all, this isn't some far-off futuristic idea. As experts put it in the Lancet, this pre-heart failure stage can be, and I'm quoting here, readily identified using simple blood tests and imaging tools that we already have in our hands today. Okay, so if we can actually find this hidden disease, how? What are the tools? Let's open up the new prevention playbook and see what's inside. The toolkit we have now is, well, it's just incredibly powerful. We have new risk calculators, sure, but the real game changers are these things called biomarkers. They're just simple blood tests that look for proteins that act like a check engine light for your heart. You add in advanced imaging and AI, and suddenly we can see trouble coming from a mile away. So let's look at one of these tools, the new Prevent Risk Score. Old calculators mostly looked at stuff like cholesterol. This new one is way smarter. It pulls in those CKM factors like your kidney health to predict your risk of heart failure not just in 10 years, but 30 years from now. It's almost like a crystal ball for your heart health. And this chart, it shows you everything you need to know. It's the before and after. Just looking at traditional risk factors alone gives us a decent idea of what might happen. But when you add those simple biomarker blood tests to the mix, boom, the predictive power shoots way up. It's like going from trying to see on a foggy day to a crystal clear one. So, okay, the science is there, the tools exist, we have the playbook. But, knowing what to do, that's often the easy part.
actually doing it on a global scale, now that's the real challenge. And there are some pretty big hurdles in our way.
And these hurdles are very real. Public awareness of heart failure is just shockingly low. I mean, one study in Europe found only 3% of people could correctly identify it from its symptoms. Just 3%. Then you have to redesign entire health systems to focus on prevention, make sure screening is affordable and accessible for everyone, and of course, overcome good old-fashioned clinical inertia to get doctors to adopt these new methods.
So, what's the big takeaway here? What's the ultimate goal? It is a complete and total paradigm shift. We have to stop being firefighters, rushing in when the house is already burning down. It's time for us to become the architects, designing a lifetime of prevention right from the very start.
So why should you care about all this? What does this mean for you personally? It means that for the very first time, this new framework gives us the knowledge and the tools to turn heart failure from something that feels like an unavoidable destiny into a condition that, for so many of us, is actually preventable. And the future for this looks incredibly bright. As researchers point out, these tools are getting easier to use, and they're getting cheaper every day. Technology, things like AI, are helping to, as they say, democratize prevention, making it possible to screen for heart failure everywhere on a global scale, not just in some fancy, expensive medical center. And all of this leaves us with one final, very powerful question. The science is here. The technology is in our hands. The playbook has been written. The real question isn't what can be done anymore. The question now is, are we as individuals, as health systems, and as a society ready to actually do it?